Welcome back, everybody. We're here to look at March the 26th. Well, we had one car facing upward. I guess we're going to use that as overall energy. Would prefer not to, but we're going to take that. March 26th, this is going to be our overall energy. So we have something toxic that is showing up, and we're going to look at cards for each sign to see what are we going to do about that toxic thing? How are we going to handle that? Are we going to overcome it? Are we going to ignore it? Is it going to become a big player? Are we going to amplify it? So let's find out. That's a little nerve-wracking. Let's find out. Some kind of toxic energy. Toxic energy, whenever this card shows up, can be defined in a lot of different ways. We can be talking about a toxic relationship, toxic habit, toxic thought patterns. So this can apply a bunch of different ways for each person as we go through here. Okay, so let's take a peek at Aries. So Aries, Three of Pentacles showing up and right side up is telling me that there's somebody you're collaborating with that I'm feeling like Aries, they're going through something toxic, and I feel like you're in a really good position to be supportive of them as they face that because right now they're not doing too good against that. And that can be, even a fear or an obsession can be a lot of different things. It looks like you're going to be naturally placed in a position where you can actually help this person if you choose to do so. I don't feel like this is you directly dealing with toxicity. I do feel like this is you helping somebody else who is. Excuse me. Taurus. What are we looking at here? Two of Wands showing up in reverse. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo. Taurus, this just tells me that you may be feeling like you're sort of forced into some type of situation that is a toxic situation or that helps create a toxic situation. So you really want to look at this twice because the Two of Wands on reverse talks about this idea that we do have a choice in front of us, but we feel sort of like pushed into one decision or the other. So it doesn't really feel like a choice because of what people around us want and expect. So we want to be really careful about that, that we are making choices today that are following our true authenticity and our true selves so that we're not pushed into something toxic just because that's something that somebody outside of us feels like would be better. They may not even know what's toxic about it, or maybe they do. Either way, we want to be the ones steering our lives and making those types of choices about what we get involved in. So that was Taurus. Next up, we're looking at Gemini. Okay, so Gemini's Eight of Wands. Excuse me. This talks about this idea that there's a conversation where somebody's going to be saying some pretty toxic things to you. You want to be really aware whenever this is going on of whether what somebody is saying to you is toxic or not. And these conversations can be in text message or they can be in person, but generally they're going to be in text message, possibly email. If they're emails, they're shorter emails. Can also be some kind of direct messaging as well. So messaging going back and forth, but there's a lot of toxicity in this. So be aware. Also, I think there's going to be a temptation here, Geminis, for you to fall into that toxicity pit just because somebody else opens it up. So be aware of that as well. Try to make sure that you are, responding to what's being said instead of reacting to what's being said. We don't want to let somebody else's toxicity trigger us. We want to remain calm and level-headed and logical as you're going through this. Okay. So that was Gemini. Next up, we're looking at Cancers. Cancers, you guys have the Seven of Pentacles coming up in reverse. There's something toxic going on with your payday. So there's probably something dishonest happening around your payday. You want to look into what exactly is happening around this payday or payback that you're supposed to be receiving. Because, first of all, it is showing up that it could be coming in late, but it doesn't really have to be. There's somebody putting a monkey wrench in things here. So you want to basically you want to be proactive and make sure that you are addressing anything that needs to be addressed to clear things up so that things can start moving more quickly towards you as far as this payday or payback. All right, so that was Cancers. Next up, we're looking at Leo. Okay, so Leo's Knight of Cups coming up in reverse. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo. How's this coming in for Leo? Is this them or somebody else? Okay. So, Leos, you guys have somebody around you, and maybe for some of you, it's actually just the music that you listen to more so than a person that's a living being in front of you. But you have some influence around you that is very negative towards the idea about the overall goodness of people, um, of the idea of relationships that can work out, especially romantic relationships. So you have somebody around you who's really down on people or on relationships, maybe even romantic relationships particularly. And basically your warning here is that their attitude is very toxic. So you don't want to go, that makes a lot of sense and just jump on that bandwagon. You want to be thinking about the good things as well and knowing that this person is just in a really bad place. It doesn't mean everybody else has to go to that really bad place too. Okay? You can actually help to uplift them if you're willing and if they're open to it. Okay, that's Leo. Next up, let's look at Virgo. Okay, so Virgo's Eight of Pentacles showing up here in reverse. Boop ba da doo doo, boop ba da doo, boop ba da doo. Virgos, whenever it comes to something that you're working on, you want to be aware of any toxic influences that may be around because it looks like there's some of uh, your work that's being undone today, the way the energy sits now. And remember, this is just the energy as I'm reading. You have free will, so you can make these cards liars. And there are some times when I would prefer that you do, this being one of them. But anyway, you have some kind of toxicity that is influencing work today. So, uh, yeah, just pay attention, be aware, and minimize. And I'm also hearing like quarantine that toxicity, set that toxicity away from things that it can contaminate. Okay. So I don't know if that's a person or what that is, but anyway, that's the message. Who is that? That was Virgo. Next up, we're looking at Libra. Libras, you guys have the Nine of Wands showing up here. This just talks about, it's basically giving you the heads up, be prepared. Somebody's going to be throwing some toxic stuff at you. So just be prepared for that. You know, don't be caught by surprise, basically. Scorpio, Scorpio. Five of Chalices showing up in reverse. Uh, Scorpios, we're not surprised. Somebody is throwing some kind of toxicity at us. And it looks to me like we are even forgiving somebody for some kind of toxicity that they've thrown at us in the past. Maybe even, uh, maybe even today. But I'm really more towards the past, just because normally forgiveness takes a longer time than a day. At least if it's for anything serious with which this toxicity kind of implies. So this, to me, this is saying that we're forgiving some kind of toxicity that has happened. For some of us, maybe today, but mostly in the past. All right, next up, let's look at Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, Six of Swords showing up in reverse. Boop ba da doop boo. This guy almost looks like a monster from like a Mario Brothers game or something, doesn't he? Interesting. With this card coming up in reverse, I'm going to say that you have freed yourself from some kind of toxicity. You have gotten out of jail. This is my I am out of jail now card, at least in this deck. So freed yourself from some kind of toxicity, Sagittarius. You're doing that today. We like that. Capricorn. Doo, 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 doo. Knave of Wands. What do we have? What do we have? But it's in reverse. Capricorns, you could have something going on today that is making you feel low energy, low energy. And this is some kind of toxicity that is having you do that. So you could be feeling like physically actually kind of yucky, or this could be something going on that has you feeling a little down or blue or depressed and low energy that way. Awesome. Bum, bum. Next, we're looking at Aquarius. So, Aquarius, we do have a Nine of Pentacles showing up in reverse. This is telling me that you're already aware of some kind of toxicity that's showing up in your life today. If you're not aware of it at the time of watching this video, you will be by the time the day's over. And you're not tolerating it. You're not satisfied with it. You're not putting up with it. This is that Nine of Pentacles is, oh no, I'm not happy with this situation. I'm going to be making some changes. I think you're putting together some changes, some plans for some changes today, if not actually implementing some, but definitely not being satisfied with that toxicity that's going on, whether it's your own thoughts or whether it's a toxic person in your sphere of influence or whatever it may be. All right, so let's see. That was Aquarius. Next up, we're looking at Pisces. So, Pisces, we do have the Justice card showing up in reverse. Justice card in reverse is telling me that there is somebody around you who is making some decisions that are toxic. In other words, they are being fueled by fear rather than by love. And we all know when we're making decisions that are based in fear, we end up regretting those. Those are not our biggest, bestest decisions. And so I think that whoever this is around you that's making these decisions, eventually they're going to realize that, oh, that was a mistake once they get out of this fearful place. But for right now, this fear really has them locked in. So they're making some decisions that are not so cool, actually. So it's going to be up to you to decide what you want to do with that, Pisces. So that's what we've got for everybody today. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Looking forward to serving some of you later on today on the phone or online. And the rest of you, I'll see back on a video. Peace out.